First time we saw Iyal's face was on a short video that was provided to us through our adoption agency. We instantly fell in love with this little boy. He was so adorable. Had him evaluated by a pediatrician. We were told, in fact, that they did see some developmental delays. He was having difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep. We started seeing a lot of hyperactivity and emotionality. So we started getting a little concerned. When we first saw the developmental pediatrician, he suspected that there was an underlying syndrome due to fetal alcohol exposure. But we were also presented with the alphabet soup, all these other comorbidities such as OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, sensory integration disorder, and ADHD. A diagnosis gives you some validation. We can say this is a disability that is a result of a birth defect. Living with a child with fetal alcohol syndrome is like living with the constant anticipation of a hurricane. Iyal can be a tornado running around the house, and like a tornado, you get caught up in this whirlwind of energy, and it wipes you out. It reveals your character. It creates your character because you are tested in so many ways.
Is that okay?
I get up in the morning and I think, what can I do today to make it better? What can I do today to make a difference for other kids and other parents who are dealing with this kind of developmental disability? Over time, you understand on so many different levels how this impacts not only your child, but your family and everybody's future who loves this child.
Mommy, you're touching bottles of fruit! Stop!
It's very hard to be a sibling of a child with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. Marasha gets so embarrassed sometimes when we're out in public. It's hard as a parent not to put this burden on your typical kid because it's like you want to say, you're the easy one. Don't act out. We know there is no magic bullet. There is no one thing that is going to change everything. Some things will help, certain things more than others. Definitely having some OT and speech and physical therapy, I believe, certainly helped. The Marcus Institute here in Atlanta is often involved in research studies. The initial study that I was involved in was called the MILE program. We had access to all of this incredible information about parenting a child with FASDs, as well as the math curriculum. But I think the intervention that I am most excited about is that we obtained a service dog.
Jeremy doesn't want you saying no to Jesus.
Iyal has an unconditional companion. Within 2 weeks of having Chancer home, there was this incredible emergence of language. One of the things we've learned as parents is that you want to try to create external supports for your child so that they can feel successful in any environment possible. The earlier you have a diagnosis, you can start intervention. You want to try to teach social skills to your child because they are not going to pick up on facial expressions or other cues. Their sense of personal space and boundaries are going to be off, which will put them in situations that make other people uncomfortable. Self-esteem suffers so much from hearing no and don't every day, every hour, because the impulsivity part of the disability overrides everything. Without that ability to stop and think before they do something, they're forever getting in trouble. You want to run out in front of your kid, running interference all the time. If you see some behaviors in your child that might look like what I'm describing, you certainly would want to make sure that you have a pediatrician examine your child And if you're not hearing things that feel intuitively like they're answering your questions or your concerns, that you go to some sort of specialist, either a child neurologist or a developmental pediatrician. You have to look at this in the face so that you can help your child. I think it's important to tell the truth, to talk about what this is, and not to be ashamed, because if you're going to teach your child to be an advocate for themselves, you have to say, this is my kid. Part of my kid is that he has a disability, a profound disability. I would also recommend that a parent try to find families that are going through this. And it's so important to realize that it's not you as a parent that is causing this behavior or this difficult situation. And since there's no cure for this disability, we have to let people know that it's 100% preventable. That if a woman is pregnant or is thinking about getting pregnant, she should not drink any alcohol at all. Every parent wants their child to be happy. And certainly that's what we want for Iyal. I think finding happiness within the context of this disability is going to depend a lot on Iyal feeling safe. Because he's so vulnerable, it is going to be our lifelong job to keep him protected and safe. There are ports in the storm. You just have to look for them.